Welcome to Golden Chat, where we provide straight talk. Each week, we deliver great insight on senior housing for you investors. So, I'm your host, Stella, with your co hosts, Lana and Pedro. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. So let us begin with the topic of the day. Market insight. Is Central Florida a good market for senior housing today? Well, I want to tell you that I think that Central Florida is because I reside here. Let me tell you a little bit about independent living. So, independent living. If anyone remembers that show, The Golden Girls, boy, I say they're the best example of what independent living was. They were living in, in the sunny state of the Sunshine State, as we say. They were living independently. They were able to care for their own needs, and it's on the lines of that definition. And it's opposed to living by yourself in an apartment. That's what independent living is. Some supportive living can be sharing a house or an apartment with someone else. So just the aspects of still having the independence to do everything that you can without any type of help is what that independent piece is. But if it ever comes a time that you need a little assistance, then that's kind of when you need to look for help.
And Pedro, I agree. I live here in Central Florida. I love it. It has so many positive opportunities for people in general. And when you look at the type of outlets we have, the shopping outlets, anywhere from all of our amusement parks to our beautiful lakes, biking and walking trails. I mean, Central Florida is truly a beautiful place to be. The weather is fantastic. Ponce de Leon came here for a reason. There's a fountain of youth, and we're all trying to get it. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
kudos to Central Florida. We got it going on here.
There you go.
But Central Florida offers over 100 type of senior community living places here.
Wow.
And one of the big type of community residential places, the 55 plus community.
Yeah.
This is a time where maybe you have a house that, used to have this big house that's 4,000 or 5,000 square feet. Now you're deciding it's time to downsize.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So these homes really focus on square footage anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 square feet, but because you're trying to have a low maintenance at this time in your life, you are downsizing, you don't want all of this high-end maintenance. So you get into these communities that offer affordable housing. Not only the affordable housing piece, but it offers social engagement. They have tons of clubs there. I'm sure even if there's not a club for you, you can make it a club up. I think there was a movie on it. Somebody came in, they didn't have the club, they made it up. So, it's one of those communities that is a great investment because it's affordable. The utilities are usually more affordable. And a lot of times they're on lakes, golf courses, close to, fishing, all sorts of activities that will keep you active in your retirement years. So investors, that's an awesome type of investment as well.
Yeah, the plus side about those kind of communities, whether they are apartments or homes, single homes or townhomes, is that most of the residents will be over 55 years old, and you can still have your family visited. So for you as a senior, you have that kind of safety net somehow, knowing that it's low risk profile for any type of burglaries or any kind of inconvenience that you have when you are with a mixed community. So
And you as you age, you don't want the burden of maintaining a large home. So sometimes maybe the communities, the single family residents aren't your cup of tea. Maybe you're looking at more senior apartment style homes. But you also have the ones where, you age in place. Those are your community care centers where you have a mix of things. You have condos, townhomes, you may have a rehab center on site. So those are nice too, because when there's a lot of land here still in Central Florida. And when you think about developing as an investor, that's a lot of opportunity there as well because people are aging in place there. So they may start off independent and need a little bit more assistance, and have these rehab centers on site. So those are big in Central Florida as well because there's a need for our baby boomers. That creates job opportunity. That's creating shelter for people to age in place. And so it's a really good piece of the investments here with the baby boomers.
Yeah, and in those communities, you find as well independent living communities. It could be inside or outside, and those are usually like buildings where each senior can have their own studio or one bedroom, one bathrooms, and they will be having their rent all inclusive with utilities, housekeeping. For example, it could have like 1 or 2 meals, sometimes 3 meals a day. And so you have access to all the amenities and services that you need. Some communities go all the way there, and you have access to all kinds of services that you think about it, you name it.
Right.
Some communities are more, for example, just the rent and the utilities included, and then you are on your own. And the average community will include meals and housekeeping.
Mhm. And the average independent living facility, the price range from 1,200 and up. So it really just depends on what that independent living facility offers, what type of amenities they have. But once again, it's like Pedro said, you're still independent. You're picking and choosing what you want to do at these communities. But a good point that he made that I like is that program of the Golden Girls. They were in South Florida, man, and they had it going on. But there's a need for these smaller independent living facilities as well, because you think about what we're going through right now. And when you have a smaller environment, you're able to control that environment a little bit more. So as an investor, when you think about your different options and diversifying, that is a really good niche right now, because as that shows you, they become family. They still have the social engagement, but now the more intimate family.
That's correct.
Yeah, when we think about co-living, which is what it is. There's a big trend on co-living for professionals and for students as well, as we know. But the seniors are becoming the demand for co-living for seniors is becoming bigger and bigger, because you kind of want to still remain active but have that social engagement, have your sense of independence, and you want to make sure you always have friends around you to do things with. And this is
Right.
very, very important today, as we are in that kind of we're very social in the sense that we want people to do things with. So as an investor, when you invest in that, you invest with a purpose, because you're providing housing for all kind of seniors, and in particular in those residential setting, providing housing that is going to sustain not in every kind of climate, every kind of situation, and every kind of market.
Mhm. Yeah, and as we stated, the prices are going to range. They're going to be very different. They're depending on what the independent living facility is going to offer. As Stella stated, they may include 1 or 2 meals a day, transportation, and so forth. So each facility is slightly different, but they have a focus, which is ultimately the goal of the well-being of the senior. And they're our future right now, our baby boomers. So investing in them is rewarding, and is providing that job opportunity as well as employment for these caregivers out there that need it as well. So that is, that's something I guess we could talk on all day long, right? About all these different facilities, because they offer so many different avenues. But it's a great time to invest, and Central Florida is the place to be.
Yeah, Pedro, I'm thinking about you right now. Just out of the on top of your head, if you were an investor, if you are an investor, which one would you invest in? Which type of senior living would you invest in?
I think I would do a combination of a model that had some an assisted product with independent. I think I would start with the independent side of filling up the independent side first, so that there would be revenue as I kind of um, vetted the right clients for the assisted piece. So then that way there would always be, and the opportunity for the investors, it's a no-brainer, because they're still going to collect their rent. But the independent piece is always important, because you definitely have individuals that are independent today. Um, tomorrow they may need assistance. I have a split level home. Once upon a time I could fly up those stairs. I can't fly up the stairs anymore, right? So as we age, things change, and that's the honest truth. So independence today, enjoy it, but it may not be independent. It may be some form of assistance in the future,
Mhm.
and that's a given for everyone. And in the times that we're in currently, that is evident that we all need some kind of help.
I like that, a combination of both, because as you said, it's a little bit like the aging in place kind of concept,
Right.
where you provide what they need when they need it.
Right.
Yeah.
And you have two savings accounts, right? So you have that account that, you have the flood over, because eventually those independent individuals will end up in the assisted side, and then you'll just continue the process. So yeah.
Mhm.
So I would say, if you are interested in knowing more of what kind of financial return that you can get on each of them, we have webinars which are free. So we invite you, the link will be in the description. We invite you to actually sign up and just ask your questions. And in those webinars, we come up with more financial data, so you could actually see and make an informed decision.
Right.
That's true. And, you know, as an investor, it's always good to diversify. So maybe you're looking into, you know, a smaller independent living facility, as well as something that's a community where they're aging in place. So there's a lot of great opportunity. So please make sure to send us any questions or concerns you have. As Stella stated, we are here to help and provide more numbers and look at each case scenario, you know, in its own unique view, because we're here to help you as the investor. So send us any questions by calling us at 407-794-7277, or email us at hello@easierlivingforyou.com. Find all our previous podcasts on www.easierlivingforyou.com. And please join us next week at 12:45 p.m. as we continue our Golden Chat.
See you next week.
See you next week, guys. Have a good one. Stay safe.
Mm.